Batman Superman issue 19, Jinlin Yang, and a bunch of artists because there's a lot of jumping between various worlds and universes that this a tour IO is set up. So I'm not going to list them all, but the this leads to there's a lot more of the real world at the start of this one. We have the miniature Batman and Superman watch the real Batman and Superman get trapped in a crystal by a
in the
tour
Phantom
IO.
Zone crystal.
In the Phantom Zone crystal, and being heroes, these little Batman and Superman want to save them. So they try to follow IO when he jumps into a movie that he's created, a world that he's created, and it ends up. We go through a couple of different variations. We first end up in a version of Ran where this is so random, but Alana ends up tagging along and even travels with them to the next one, which was really weird, but okay. They do encounter a Turaio there briefly, but the main encounter, which leads to the big cliffhanger, is they end up in the Old West. They're sort of cowboys, sort of dressed, and they end up in a sort of train heist because there's something weird with this train. A tour's probably on the train. Turns out he's actually the entire front part of the train. He stands up like a transformer at the end of it. But we have this Mask of Zorro-esque vigilante
El
Diablo round around, who's surprised when he can't shoot Superman, obviously, at one point on top of the train. But we got the all the fighting here. It's honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say about this book at this point. It's just kind of continuing the silly fun.
So I like that there's two things, is that the Lex from one of the other surviving worlds, right, comes up with a plan that Autor.io is trying to make the perfect story, right? So Lex is able kind of to sell him on the idea, like, well, you could make the world of tomorrow like the perfect one, and everything that's not perfect you throw into the world of night, right? Which is the Batman one. And that's kind of what Lex was already doing. That's why we have that cloning machine.
But just to be clear here, not the Lex from either of those two worlds. This is a third Lex from another world. Yes, that escaped one that got destroyed.
And so that sells Autor.io that's what he's going to do, but he's going to do it his own way. We also find out that he is an alien that basically was taken over by sentient film, if I am reading that correctly.
Basically Superman, because they get a glimpse of it when they're in the Ran part, but when they're in the Old West, Superman intentionally sort of goes tornadoes around him to separate him from the armor. And it turns out the alien inside's actually quite reasonable and thinks what's happening is quite horrible, and he sees the error of the ways and all that. But eventually the armor goes back on him and controls him again. Right. So,
but we found out that he's wandered for generations.
Blue Beetle here?
No.
It sounded suspiciously like Blue Beetle just coming in.
It's a little. He is blue though, whatever alien he is. But basically he's like this. Almost he is storytelling, right? That's how I read this as. And he got to the point where movies become a thing, and he completely, or stage plays. I'm not exactly.
I think it was movies. It
is movies.
Yeah, because he basically talks about landing on Earth, and he went to watch movies basically, and eventually this whole theory went to for decades.
Closed.
Shut down, and that's when he kind of ended up with the armor and went down this path. But
in his mania, so it encased him like a suit of armor. This sentient film, and created the Archive of Worlds, and now this is what's leading to that. And the armor takes back over him, and he ends up opening up a demon horde of the apocalypse, which I do love that Yang is playing with different genres, right? We go to Ran, which is straight sci-fi, right? We have Alana with the jetpack and all this. Then they jump into Western with El Diablo, and he looks like Zorro, and there's a train heist, and they're all in Western gear. And now he's opening up clearly horror.
I mean, if they jump again, I imagine El Diablo will probably go with them, because it feels like after having Alana tag along, it feels like whenever they get to the end of the story, having one representative of all these various worlds is maybe probably going to play into whatever happens. So that makes some sense to me.
Genres represented, and at the end here we have an evil-looking Etrigan with a bunch of other demons behind him.
I'm pretty sure there's a man bat behind them.
Yeah, Cthulhu, it looks like too.
It's a Cthulhu,
yeah, a whole bunch of scary stuff.
That's a cliffhanger, that's he's bringing the hell creatures to fight them.
It's fun.
All pretty fun stuff. I like that he tries to say to Superman, "Hey, your world's going to be the good one that'll survive."
Mm-hmm.
But Superman's like, "Yeah, but what happens to the Batman's world then?" And when it's like, "Oh, that's going to go to shit. Why do you care?" It's like, "Well, no, I don't accept that. I can't let another world suffer for our world to prosper. That's just not how he thinks." So it's like it's a good little character beat for Superman.
Right.
And there you go. That's pretty much it.
Trying to see who did the arts.
There was a long list when I was looking on League of Comic Geeks. There was a long list. And
yeah, well, Lou Pacino is one. Is Lou Pacino the Rand stuff? I think. No, because that's Lieber. That's clearly Lieber. And then, so Lou Pacino must have done the. I'm gonna guess the Western, if I'm looking at it. And I can't really tell, and I feel bad. But I wish they had put them there, almost as if they're different movies, like the credits. You know what I mean? So that's one negative here. But yeah, you have Emmanuel Lupacino, Steve Lieber, Derek Robinson, and Kyle Hotz. So
yeah,
but no, this is a whole lot of fun. And I really like Yang. Yang takes these chances with storytelling that I really like. And I hope after this book ends, he has something fun to do. We know Monkey King.
I don't know.
Seated.
Like, if he gets put on another book after this, I'm going to assume the book is ending in about 6 issues time.
But what if it's something that he's with from the beginning, right? Like
sure.
he got how many of New Superman did he go?
18.
There's at least yeah. So who knows? But yeah, I mean, but well, is it that it's not exactly.
Oh no, there was 24.
To read every week.
There was 24.
Yeah,
there was a volume
about
4.
2 years.
Yeah, it was 24.
But yeah, it's not like I would recommend it if it wasn't like a big huge week, right? And you have all these other marquee books to read. You know, if I wasn't already enjoying all of this because of movies and the genre play stuff, I probably would have let it fall off.
It is worth saying that, yeah, on a busy week like this one let's get left to the end, and it was kind of like, oh, this is definitely the one that feels like it's superfluous to everything else. But I mean, I did enjoy it when I read it. It's a good fun time.
Worth noting that obviously it's getting cancelled. That YouTube probably aren't the only people who feel like that. Like, it's fine, but there's a lot of other books that you'd rather keep up with.
I feel that's most Batman Superman books though, because even I feel like the one pre-Flashpoint, right? That went forever, but it always just kind of meandered. Like, it was never the best thing DC was putting out past a certain point, but it was there.
It hasn't been a notable book since the original Loeb stuff.
Right. Because even when they brought in Jay Lee to do it in New 52, it was fine.
I enjoyed it for the Jay Lee art, not for the book itself. Like, not the story, but his art's gorgeous, to be honest.
Yeah. And even here from the start, when it was Williamson, this book started on shaky ground already because it felt like it was a tie into Hell Arisen.
And even after that, it was like, yeah, it's a fun book, but it was never anything special.
No. So it's a shame because I like Yang. I want Yang to be able to tell fun stories like this wherever. So wherever he chooses to do that, I'm going to follow. But yeah. So I'm going to rate this book. I'm going to give this a 7.5.
Yeah, straight 7 for me, I think. But yeah, it was a fun time. But I mean, I hate to say this, but yeah, you can wait for the trade probably and just read it that way.